Okay, send it.
Testing. So, last week wasn't perfect. Not even close, but honestly, it was exactly what I needed. A good enough week. So, this time of year, I'm giving myself permission to have a little bit more flexibility, less structure, fewer expectations, and just more focus on just keeping the ball rolling, getting my lifting in, getting the rides in throughout the week, a little bit of movement every day, nothing heroic. It's kind of that time where I'm coming down, settling in, giving myself a little bit of stress away from the typical training season. It's a good little off, mental and physical. So why was it a good enough week? Life was stacked. Busy clinic days, a couple of meetings in the evenings, athlete calls that kind of packed in early in the week. And the startup I'm involved in, well, we decided to completely rebrand within the next 2 weeks prior to 2026. I love it. I'm really, really productive when I'm busy. And I'm usually, if I'm not busy, I find things to do. So it was good. But what that really meant is that training wasn't the center of my universe, and that's okay right now. I still got it in again, still kept the ball rolling, but there were other things that needed to be more important last week.
She doesn't know it yet, but I'm gonna put a move in. Drop her right here.
So I had to remind myself of something that I think a lot of you get. I'm a professional who loves to race and ride bikes and get after it outside. I am not a professional athlete. My whole day, unfortunately, doesn't revolve around getting the training in, getting the eating in, getting the rest in. And honestly, when I try to live like that, on top of all the other things like this week, that's where the stress, the burnout, the injuries, and the illnesses tend to creep up and pop up. This is the off season, but off season doesn't mean off. It means lower pressure, it means building rhythm, not chasing metrics, except for all the ones on my screen. And it means letting training support the rest of your life instead of competing with it. There will be plenty of time to compete with training when you're in the training phases. Right now, not that time. And honestly, it's also the best time of the year to step away if you need to. If you're tired, take the week. If you feel flat, just reset. I'm going to be doing my own 2025 recap video soon, and revisiting this past year is always grounding. The good, the bad, and the breakthroughs and the mistakes. It's all that data that we can learn and move on from and build from. this is the time of the year. It's also when I sit down and think strategically about next season. What races matter? What skills do I need to work on? Where do I want my fitness to be in March and in July and September? Base season isn't about proving anything. It's about preparing. Oh, and speaking of preparing, a new bike showed up this last week. Everything's here, ready to rock and roll. I'm not going to go deep dive today, but I will have a full bike build video coming soon. Gonna start piecing it together this coming week. Fingers crossed I'm able to get outside and ride it before snow really settles in. Stay tuned for that. So yeah, this all lines up perfectly with where we're headed next week. Reality of base season. It's gonna start on, so we're gonna dive into what it actually is, what it isn't, and why slow doesn't necessarily mean easy, and why this phase set your ceiling for the entirety of the training year ahead of you. So yeah, last week wasn't perfect, but it was good enough, and that's fine. That's what last week needed to be. That's the point right now. Getting it in, modifying, loading different stresses, taking care of business. If your week looks similar, then you're right where you should be too. And really, I'll see you next week, and we'll talk about more of that base training and what that really means now that we maybe be coming out of that off season and transitioning into that base or build. So we'll see you then.